guys, it's Rebecca with Stamp by the Beach. This is our Friday night live. If you are just joining in, if you look at the top left hand corner of your screen, if there is a red box and it says live, then that means that I'm here right now. If that box is not there, then you're watching the replay, which is totally fine. Just know that if you comment anything in the comments, I can't change anything because I'm no longer there. So anyway, as you're popping on, say hello. Hey, Teresa. Let me get everything set up so everybody can find me. We get to learn fun new things today. I've had several people ask me how to use our Stampin'write markers, which are the skinny ones. I know I use my Stampin' Blends a ton, and that's these big fat ones, and these are the alcohol-based markers, but these are our regular Stampin'write markers. It's the same ink as our ink pads, and so they're a little bit different, but there's some different things that you can do, and so I was going to show you guys tonight some of the things that you can do that's different that you can't necessarily do with the blends. I'm trying to get this to work. It is going so slow. I need to get a new computer. It's not happening though. I took Emmy to the vet today. She was not happy. I was told that today I have to sedate my cat the next time we try to go because she was not happy. She was not having it. She was very aggressive. I don't know that I've ever seen her that aggressive, so that was definitely different. It's not letting me share. If you guys have a chance, and the computer will let you, go ahead and share. I'm going to give people a few more minutes to hop on. I know there's a couple other ones joining us. So if you've never done a card class with me before, they are free with a $25 order, and then you use the host code that I post, and I actually put all that information is up in the description for this video. So if you need the link and all that to click on, it is all right up there. Hey Denise and Sarah and Ingrid, everybody's here. But I forgot what I was saying. It's gone. Hey Laura. Oh, that's what I was saying. So my card kits, we do 3 cards typically. Sometimes it's 4. It just depends on what technique and how many layers and all that kind of stuff we're doing. But they're free with a $25 purchase, and that just covers the cost of my fees, and then you get pretty things. So it's like a double win. But anyway, so we hop on here and we do the lives, and you guys can stamp with me, or you can wait for the replay and you can watch it again later and just hang out with me in the meantime. But we're going to do this one first. I thought this one was, and then we'll do the other thing. We're going to do a split card technique. I don't know if you guys have watched that one yet, but it's like super cool. All right, so this is actually, I'm using the note cards. This is the note cards and envelopes. Hey, Kathy. And I'm going to start with my small layer, and I don't remember what size it was. It's already gone. But anyway, so we're going to stamp this cute little sunflower, and this is one of our new sets from the new catalog. If you guys have not got on and looked at the last chance items, we're coming very, very close to the end of everything. Everything will reset on June 3rd, and so if there was anything on there that you were wanting, if it sells out, that's it. It's gone. You're gonna have to track it down somewhere else. I might have it on my shelf. What color did I stamp that in? I stamped it in gray. In case you guys didn't notice, currently our black is on back order still. And that is because of all this COVID stuff going on. We're just not able to get everything in as quickly as it's selling. But at least we get to still order, and Stampin' Up! Is still running, so that's a good thing. Everything's a little bit delayed, but we're still getting our stuff, so that's what matters. So this one I'm going to use, instead of using the black, which ends up actually I think working a little bit better because it's less harsh, I'm going to use the basic gray. And we're going to stamp, I think I want him right here. So I'm going to put him on there. And because I'm going to put some other ones around him, I'm going to use the masking technique. So all I did is I stamped another sunflower, the same stamp, and I cut him out. And when I cut my masks, I like to cut super close to the line. And I actually cut a little bit off of that outline part so that when I go to lay it on, there's a little bit of a gap, because if you go directly over or overlap, you're gonna have weird gappage, and it looks weird. So I like to lay it on and mine is already a little bit smaller, but I like to back it off just a little bit so I can see the stamp And it's okay if you end up getting a little bit on your edges. It's gonna look better than if there's a big giant gap, because then it just looks weird. And I'm gonna turn this guy because I wanna make sure I get his leaves this time. And you just stamp over your mask. And now you have two sunflowers and it looks like they're layered on top of each other. And we're gonna do the same thing next door. Leave a little bit of a gap. And we're gonna go, my fingers are in the way. We're gonna go right there. Ta-da! See, that one really looks like he's back there. And when we color it in, it kind of looks a little bit wonky, but once we color it in, it's gonna be okay. Put him away. Jane, I'm using your favorite new color, the garden green. Is Jane here? I don't see Jane on here. She'll pop in a little while. Jane accidentally bought some extra garden green, and she's been looking for ideas on what to do with all of her garden green that she has. So I'm gonna start with my leaves, and I'm using the garden green markers. I like using this technique too, Laura. I forget about it sometimes. And I'm going to, I'm trying to think. I kind of think I want to do a little bit different than what I did earlier. Which one is this? This one is Pear Pizzazz. Let me see if I like those two together. I do. I would rather my old olive, but I don't know what I did with. Oh, look, it's right here in front of me. That's better. All right, so I'm going to start with my light color, and I'm just going to kind of put it on here. And I'm not being super accurate with these markers, and that's okay. Because I kind of like leaving a little bit of white. It makes my brain happy. And I'm going to go back with the garden green, and I'm going to kind of go over these darker lines that the artist, when they made these stamps, had already put in. They do all that hard thinking work for us. And I'm using, because these markers have the two tips, just like our Stampin' Blends do. So they have the pen tip, and then they have the brush tip on the other side. So I use the brush tip first with the lighter color, and now I'm going back with the pen side with the darker color, because I can be a little more accurate. I think I got all my leaves. It doesn't do quite the same as our blends, but if you kind of go over, you're still going to add more color and more layer on top, so that it's not so blatant that you drew those lines on there. Okay, there's our green. For the yellow, I'm going to use Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to go on here and kind of do the same thing. I'm not being super accurate with my coloring, and that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to leave white spots, but you could totally color this all the way in if you really wanted to. I drove to Destin today, which if you guys are not familiar where I'm at, I'm in Crestview. And so that's about 45 minutes. Look, I'm going to cover up that gap and make it yellow right there. And then it's going to be less gappy. And it's going to be okay. Anyway, I live about 45 minutes from Destin and the beaches. And I had to take Emmy to the vet. And there is a cat-only vet in Destin. And I had never been there before. But I was like, you know, because I'm a weird cat person, I was like, well, surely they know what they're doing, because I think this marker needs to be right ink, because he's not quite as dark. We're going to use the other side. Anyway, so I went because they're, you know, they must be cat people because they only see cats, and they were very nice. I did enjoy them. Emmy did not. Which, if you guys have ever met my cat, she's not a very social cat anyway. It's very much on her terms. And she did okay down there. She howled most of the way because she does not like the car. She likes to play in the car if it's parked in the garage. She likes to hop in and, you know, climb over the seats. But when it's moving, she wants nothing to do with it. So she howled all the way to Destin. She finally, about the time we pulled into the parking lot, she had curled up into my lap and had, you know, started to fall asleep and settle down. And I'm like, well, now it's time to get out of the car. So we go in, and she did okay. She did okay until they were in there and trying to touch her and mess with her, and she went into full like Cujo cat mode and wouldn't let him go near and wouldn't let me go near. And then as soon as they walked out, she was fine. And they're like, well, you're gonna have to give your cat some medicine next time before you guys come, because she can't handle this. And that's because I'm a bad cat owner and I did not keep her into the vet the way I should have. And so she hasn't been to the vet probably, well, since she was a kitten. And she's 6 years old now, so she's not used to it, and she's just not used to having somebody poke and prod other than me. All right, and then I threw in some of that darker color in there, and this one was, because I was talking, this one's crushed curry. So I put some crushed curry on top just to kind of darken them up a little bit and go back over those artist lines. And then for the centers, I'm gonna use, I believe this, yep, crumb cake. I'm just gonna scribble some crumb cake in there. Quite literally, just scribbling it in there. And then I'm gonna use my soft spade, and I'm using the pen tip, and I'm just gonna kind of go over these dots that make up the sunflower seeds. In the center, and on the edges. So we finished up at the vet, and then we went over to PetSmart. And I can't leave her in the car because, you know, it's Florida and it's like 80 degrees outside. So she went in with me in her little carrier, and she was not quite thrilled about that either. I was like, well, I'll just buy her a new toy and she'll be okay. No, she really didn't care. She came home and went to sleep. So I'm just gonna go over that one more time with this lighter one, the crumb cake, just to kind of fill in a little bit over those guys. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see that okay. I have really bad shadowy in my craft room. I need a new light in here. All right, so there's that one. So that's coloring with these. Actually, there's a little bit right here. This is kind of wonky looking. And that's just where that overlap was. But now it's fixed. All better. And then nothing's complete without some glitter. So I'm gonna put some Wink Estella over the tops of the centers just to make them sparkly. Like that. Oops. And then we're gonna add our words. I'm gonna use the garden green. I'm gonna use these words that are out of this sunflower set, and it is, congratulations on reaching a whole new level of wonderful. I thought that was sweet. There's that one. And then I know, because there were a few of you who got the card kits that go with this live, you may not have this set, and that's okay. You can do it with any of the sets. So we're actually going to use the tropical set on the next card. And I did one, this one was a little bit messier, but you can do the same concept with those tropical flowers. So all I did the same thing. I just made a mask with the big flower, and I stamped my leaves and my little flowers. So you can do the same thing with any of your images. You just gonna make your little mask, and that way you can cover it up and stamp on top of it. All right, we're gonna stick this layer on. Ooh, this feels like a brand new one. It's not coming out like a brand new one, but it sure felt like it. Let's try this one. Nope, not that one either. I was using one of these last night, so I know one of these has glue on it. There we go. That looks even. And then this is our note card. We're just gonna fold in, and I'm gonna use some dimensionals on this part if I can find what I did with them. Put that guy away. Here they are. Oh, not the ones I was looking for, but they'll work. You guys are quiet tonight. I'm just gonna put him on top. There we go. So there's that card. Just a fun way to use those Stampin'write markers. And then this one I'm like super excited about. This next one is called the split card technique, and somebody else much more smarter than I am came up with it. But essentially you get 2 cards out of 1 sheet of paper, and you're making them at the same time. So you're not having to like cut out a bunch of stuff. You cut out 1 set of stuff and you assemble, and then you're all done. So if you have your card kit, or if you have that you're doing this at home, you need a card base basically. So this is a 5.5 by 8.5, 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm just gonna take my paper trimmer, and you can either mark this with a pencil, or I'm gonna just do a score line, because I'm not gonna cover this whole area. If I was gonna cover the whole area, then you can use the pencil, and then you don't have to worry about it. But I didn't want to have to worry about erasing anything. So I'm going to score this at 4 1/4, and I'm going very lightly because I'm not looking for this to be something I can fold. Okay, I did that too lightly. Let's try that again. I was too gentle. Just enough that I have a guideline to follow, and I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera or not, but it is there. You can do it with the pencil, and it's actually fairly easy with our paper trimmer, because you could just stick your pencil down in the track, and then that way you know you're getting a straight line. Okay, so now I have my card and I have my score line. This is where I'm going to be placing all of my things so that we get an even both sides. And I'm gonna do, I guess I could show you what I'm making so you don't just think I'm crazy. Thank you, Kathy. So this is a split card. So I arranged everything in the center, and then you cut it down the middle, and then you get 2 cards. So I've done, this is the one we're gonna make, but I'm gonna show you, this is another one I made because the sunflowers are just my absolute favorite, and I think they're gorgeous. But aren't those so pretty? So that's the same, it's the same technique, just a different stamp set. This is the Celebrate Sunflowers, and this is actually one of the stamp sets that are coming in our Paper Palooza. And if you haven't signed up for that, you need to sign up and fill out the Survey Monkey so that I know that you're participating and I can send you an invoice, because we have to order June 3rd, or I don't want anything to run out. So we're going to expedite everything, and we're going to order on June 3rd. So I have to have everybody's money and sign up by June 2nd. So, all right, I'm going to stick my card in here. I'm going to back it off just a little bit. This is the Stamparatus. This is our positioning tool. It is one of my favorite things. So I'm going to put my paper where I want it, and then this is the stamp I'm going to do, my birch wood. And I'm going to kind of place it where it's in the middle, straddling that line that I created. And I like to back it off away from this edge just a little bit so that when it closes, it has room to close and I'm not squishing anything. But then I just close the door. And now every time I go to close this, it's gonna go in the exact same spot, as long as my paper doesn't move. It kind of moved a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna, I think I had it right there. I had a second idea in my brain. It's a scary thought. All right, I'm gonna fix this one more time. I like to have this grid paper under here because I can figure out where I want everything, but I don't want it all the way on the edge. Okay, I did that because I want to stamp off first. This one I did the full ink with the pool party, and I think it's a little bit too dark, so I wanted to try it this time lighter. So I'm gonna ink up my stamp. And I have a scrap piece of paper in here, so I'm just gonna smush it down the once. And then now I'm gonna stick my card in here. Let's see what happens. I had it butted up against that line. And then we're just gonna close the door, give it a good smush again. There we go. And this looks funny right there just because that's where my score line is, but that's okay because we're gonna fix that anyway. It'll be a wig. All right, I'm gonna set that over there, and I'm gonna keep this guy. Nope, I'm done with it for the moment. All right, this feels like 1,000 steps, but it really isn't that hard. I'm gonna take my palm trees and I'm gonna stamp them first. If I can find what I did with the stamp set. Good grief. There it is. Oops. So this one is the Timeless Tropical. And I'm gonna put my palm trees on here. And these palm trees, hey Melissa, these palm trees are one stamp and we don't have, like sometimes they separate the tree branches from the trunk, but this one they didn't, and this one it's really pretty sometimes when you do all the same color, but I wanted my leaves to be green and my trunk to be brown. So this is another way that we can use these Stampin'write markers, because we can color on our rubber. With our alcohol Stampin' blends, you can't color on the rubber. It will eat at the rubber because it's alcohol. Not to mention, even if you did try, because I have tried, just to see what it would do, it doesn't stay wet long enough for you to actually get a good stamp. So it doesn't work. It's not good for your stamps, and it does not work. So it's not worth trying. Clean that off because it was dirty. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go in. I always do my lightest color first, just in case we have a little bit of overlap. You're not getting brown on the top of your green marker. And I'm just gonna go on here. I'm just gonna color using that brush tip. And if you kind of leave your brush and you go parallel to your stamp, and just be gentle, because if you jab it in there, you're gonna mess up your brush and it'll get all frayed and yucky. But if you try to keep it parallel to your stamp and just be gentle, and don't worry, the color is going to look like it's changing. It's because it's starting to dry, and that's okay, because there's a way to fix that too. But it's not drying the way that the alcohol markers do. The alcohol markers dry and then like the color disappears because the alcohol evaporates. But these are just like our ink pads, so it's just our regular ink. Oh man, I got my tree wet. Darn it. There's a big puddle right there. Good job. Alright, and then we're gonna do the same thing with the brown. So I'm gonna just color over the trunk area. Just like that. Alright, and then if you guys have glasses, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but you're gonna huff on it. So it's like you're cleaning your glasses, you're gonna just huff. And that's going to use the moisture droplets from your breath, so don't do this if you have COVID and share it with your stamps. but then you're just going to line him up. I'm gonna line him up here, I'm gonna try. If it's crooked, I will just recut these. Yeah, it's crooked. But you can see I got green leaves and brown tree trunks. And because I didn't really do a whole lot of overlapping, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go over this again. That. I think I got them all. I was trying to avoid you guys having to watch me or wait for me to cut out my trees and my flowers, but that's okay. It don't take that long. It is. It just has to go on an angle. Alright, so there we go. Now you can see it. So we're going to do two because we need two of these. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to color the stamp. Like that. And let's do our brown. Takes a little bit of extra time, but it's not super time consuming. You just want to make sure you huff on it before you go to stamp, because especially when you have multiple colors you're working with, one of those colors is going to dry before the other one. You just want to make sure that you re-moisten it so that you get an even stamp. Alright, so there's our trees. We're going to do very similar with this flower that I'm probably going to have to just cut him out too. I have a feeling. And I'm going to use two colors. I'm going to use the Flirty Flamingo. And this one I'm just going to kind of slap in the middle. I'm not really being super accurate, just throwing it in the middle. And then I'm going to go back with the Melon Mambo, and I'm going to go around the edges in these little areas where I know that the artist has drawn the shading. Like that. And it's okay that these colors are going to mix. I know that there's some Flirty Flamingo that my Melon Mambo is going into, but because this is a darker color, it's not going to mess with the color of my marker. It's not like, you know, dipping your yellow marker in black. Okay, and then I want a little bit in the center. You're gonna huff on it again. You need 2 of these flowers. So now you have a 2-tone flower where he's lighter pink and then he has the darker pink on the outside edges. I feel like it's super shadowy, so I'm sorry if you guys can't see. Because I did do 2 colors on this, I am going to clean it in between just so that I don't get that Melon Mambo on my Flirty Flamingo. Alright, so Flirty Flamingo, kind of all over, in the middle, and then Mellow Mambo on the edges. And then those artist lines. I think these flowers are really white and like real life, but I'm making them pink because I like pink. Yep, a little bit in the middle. Alright, and there's that one. We have a 2-tone flower over there. I need 2 flowers. I think so. Where'd my cards go? Right in front of my face. Yes, 2 flowers. Let's double check in. Alright, so now that we have all our stamping done, I'm going to go cut these super quick. And I will be right back when I do the dies. Sure, plum fairies. There they are. I put them away. Who does that? Not me. I never do that. Okay. Now, let's do the tree. You guys are so super quiet tonight. This one. I should have made my stencils for my Stampin'write, and then I wouldn't have to do this, but it's okay. There's those 2. This one doesn't want to line up right. Nope, let's try it in there. I'm fighting with the dies. It's okay. Okay. I'm experimenting with one of the new stamp sets. Ooh, which one are you playing with, Laura? Okay, so this one got a little bit wonkied, but that's okay, because we're going to hide it up underneath several layers, and it's going to be all good. Alright, here's my card base. There's no more water up here. Just making sure. I'm going to put my yellow circle on here first. This is actually the Starburst punch, and he's retiring, and it makes me super sad. And then I'm going to do one set of palm trees over here, and one set of palm trees over here. Try to make it even. I like to lay everything out before I start gluing, just to make sure I have everything where I want it to be. Alright, and then this one, I'm going to cut him in half. So you're going to use one flower whole, And we're going to stick him right there. And then this other one, we're going to leave cut in half because we're just sticking him back there. So there's no reason to have 2 more flowers or 1 more flower because that's just extra work and it gets the same effect. All right, there's those guys. And then if you're doing the card kit, you should have a bunch of little leaves and such. And then these little guys just go where you want them to be. And I think it would look good, the green or the pattern side. This is actually the, oh, what is this type of paper called? It's the tropical paper that's in our current catalog, and it's only here until June 2nd. June 3rd, I think it's still hanging around, but it definitely at while supplies last. So if you liked this one, you'll have to stock up on it. There he is. You don't have to make these symmetrical. It just makes my brain happier to do it this way. Because you're only going to see 1/2 of these by themselves anyway. So if you wanted to do different designs, you could. I'm going to flip that guy over on this one. I left it all on the pattern side on the original sample, but I think I kind of like it mixed in. Where do I want this guy at? I don't think I used all these. I like him right there. Oh, I have an extra one. That's why I'm confused. There we go. That's better. He needed a friend. Whoops. Get back under there. So you just keep playing with this until you're happy with it. Him up there. Yeah, you might just leave him off. He kind of looks, he reminds me of a dinosaur track. I don't know why, but it does. All right, and then when you think you know that you like where everything is at, you can take a picture of it, or if you have a really good memory, then that works too, but I kind of like to start at the top and work my way down and just glue things because this little flower is going to catch a bunch of those little pieces when I go to put him down. Because it got my palm trees, it got these little green guys. And then I know where these guys are. Oops, I pulled the glue booger off. Dandelion Wishes is a good one. I haven't played with that one. I don't even know, do I have him? I don't even think I have that one. It's like been on the list of I want to get it and then I never did. Oops, this is where I want you up here. Get back up there. I want you here. Sometimes if you talk to your pieces, they go on better. Get out of there. He slid himself back under. I don't think he has some glue. I don't think I do, Laura. I think it's one that I thought about getting and I just never did. That one's good. I kind of like to give everybody a little tug, and if they move, then I glue it back down. And if it doesn't move, then we're good. All right, I think I got everybody on here. Nobody fell off, so we're good. So once you have everything glued on here, actually, I think he kind of needs to move over a smidge, if it will. Because he's looking super close to that line. My line is right there, and I don't want to cut him off. Okay, so you get your paper trimmer. We're going to line this back up at 4 1/4, because that's where our center was. And I like to start my blade in the middle of everything and work my way to one edge, go back to the middle. That way you're not pulling up any of those little pieces, and go over it a couple of times so that you know you cut all the way through. Sometimes, even when you do that, it gets stuck in the middle. This one had a lot of layers right there in the middle. So if you just kind of go through with your scissors, it's usually just one little fiber that's holding on. Right there. There it is. Okay. Oops, I wasn't done with that. And then I think this looks weird having that line there. So depending on how far over you did your stamping, this one looks like I can do 2 1/4. And I'm just gonna chop that part off so that we don't have it, you only have that background. You're not having that straight white edge. I'm gonna do the same thing on this one. When you go to cut this half, you wanna make sure that the pretty side is over here, because if you cut him this way, I mean, I guess you could, but that makes my brain hurt. This way I know I'm not accidentally cutting my stuff. Looks like this one might need to be a little teeny tiny bit more, because he hung over just a little bit, but that's okay. And this one, the white is gonna show, but I can fix that. It's just because I didn't shift over as much as I should have. So I'm gonna take my sponge and my pool party, and we're just gonna go back and fix all those little areas. So if you just sponge the edges, you're gonna fix that white line from where that stamp left off, and you're gonna add some extra color and texture to your card. I'm just not going to sponge over this area because I think that would look weird. So I'm only sponging where that blue is. And then I'm just going to go back and kind of twist and add a little bit in this white blank space, like that. Same thing on this piece. And like where I have more white, I'm just going in a little bit further so that you're not having that stark white edge. This is like one of the few times that I don't mind seeing the sponge texture because it's intentional. Usually we say start on the outside and work your way in and not go straight in the middle, but this one I don't mind. All right, so now we have 2 card fronts. We're gonna use some Pool Party card bases. And you just have to figure out where you want this. If you want him to be all the way to the edge, if you want to be in the middle. I'm gonna kind of go there-ish, I think. Actually, I think we'll go over here. Let's do it. We're gonna be different. Every time I do this, it's a little bit different. Oh man, this must not have been the one with blue. Okay. And if I cut paper right, it should line up exactly. So I'm gonna put that one on there and set it aside. And we'll put this one on. I'm kind of liking him in the middle. It's making my brain very happy. Come on, glue. I might need to dig out my new ones that I just got. But there's still glue and I don't want to waste it. There we go. If I was better about storing my glue upside down like you're supposed to store them like this, my glue would be at the bottom already and I wouldn't have to fight. But I'm really bad about putting things away when I'm done. All right, and then I'm gonna take, this is the burlap, the braided burlap trim, and I'm just gonna go over this edge so that it doesn't look like it just ends. You don't have that raw cut edge. So we need about this much. The easiest way to attach this is to use your tear and tape. You can use the glue. You're just gonna have to give it a little bit of extra drying time to make sure that it sticks down, because it's just a little bit heavy. Thank you, Melissa. Empty pill containers, that's a good one. I've seen lots of different ideas. I have a shot glass in here somewhere because I was using it. And then I have like a 3D printed tool holder, and it has a little spot that's made just for that glue, and I don't use it consistently. But there's lots of cool ways to store your glue. Hi, Rachel. All right, and get him on there. And then you can just trim off whatever is hanging off. I think these are my gluey scissors. Well, let's hope they are because there's a little bit of glue on here. And then I kind of just let the edges fray a little bit because I liked it. And because there's that glue, that tape underneath, it's not gonna fray too much, which is good because I just want it subtle. I don't want it to be all tore to pieces. So there's that one. And we'll do the same thing to this card. Need about that much. Put our tear and tape on here. Press it down. Let it attach to all those little fibers. I cut this one big too. Oops, and he's crooked on here. And it's not coming off. Because this tape is like super duper. Yep, we're just gonna have to leave it. It's okay. Things can be crooked. Oops, I cut the card a little bit. It's okay. All right, now we need our words. So these are, I don't remember which punch this is. Who knows what punch this is? I think you can have a prize if you know what punch this is, because I cannot remember. I'm terrible with these punches. I cannot remember. Where is underneath my card? Good grief. We're gonna use the Rest and Relax. It fits really nicely on this one. I have a label somewhere, and I think it's across my craft room, and it has what this one's called, but it's not in front of me. I'm going to use some early espresso. I tried to avoid using black because you guys can't order it right now. So there's lots of other colors you guys can use in place of black. You don't have to have black. There's lots of other neutrals to pick from. Night of Navy is also one of my favorite neutrals to use. Storytime punch. Thank you, Candy. I have the hardest time remembering those guys. All right, and we're just gonna stick him on here. Where do I want him now? I did this card different. I don't really want to cover up all my trees. I don't dislike that. You know what? We might end up doing something different on this one. Where's the other card? This is what happens when I do things rogue. I have to rethink the plan. So I don't mind it as much on this one. I think it's just because it's a different side of the paper. And very much I like my words on the right hand side. Story label punch. I'm going to use dimensionals, but I'm only going to put them on the ends because it's going to have to straddle this ribbon. If I put one in the middle, it's not going to sit right. So it's going to save me a whole dimensional, probably two, because you guys know how I am with the dimensionals. Okay, there's that one. I don't dislike it. Does your brain have those moments too where things are not on the right side so they look wonky, and this one is crooked so it's just throwing me off a little bit? It's blowing in the wind or the water. It's a beachy card. All right, and I'm gonna use the champagne rhinestones. I haven't used these in a while. So I felt like we needed some story label punch. Thank you, Candy. My fingers are gluey. I'm going to stick one in that middle of the flower. And then we're going to go one there. I'm thinking one there. Alright, there's one. I'll do the same thing to this guy. Right in the center. One there. And we'll go one there. Alrighty, so there's that one. I thought that was kind of cool. I know some of you guys just hopped on, but this is the sunflower one that I did. So using that same technique, but using this new Celebrate Sunflowers that's coming in the new book. And these are the Gilded Gems, which are one of my favorite. It has lots of character, Melissa, because it's like all sorts of wonky and it's making my brain hurt a little bit, but it's okay. It's still a cute card, and I think I do. What do you guys think? This was the first one I did, and I did the full ink, and then this one I stamped it off. Which one do you like better? That's the crooked one. Look at this one. Which one makes your brain happier? I kind of like them both for different reasons. I don't know. I like them both. So that was tonight's cards. That was fun. So we had the split card and we had the sunflower card that disappeared. Here he is. We had that cute little one. He's the simple stamping card. The full. I know, I like them both too, Laura. Like, and I like them for different reasons. Like, I like that the trees are a little bit more front and center, and so they're kind of more the focus. But I also like how this is very defined. Like, I almost want like an in-between. But I like them both. I think they both are very pretty. Even my crooked one. But that was all I had for tonight. Did you guys have any questions? I did want to remind you guys, if you have not signed up for the Paperpalooza party, I know you're probably tired of hearing this, but I don't want you guys to be sad and miss out, because it's going to be a lot of fun and you're getting a ton of product. I was actually adding up all that paper the other day because I'm trying to get my list ready, because I have like an hour that I can order on Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever the 3rd is, which I think is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I only have like an hour because I'm going back to work next week, and it opens at 1 o'clock, and like I need to be on the computer at 1 o'clock to order so that it does nothing sells out and I can have everything I need so I can start cutting it. Trying to call me. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys. But anyway, I have to have payment. You need to tell me that you want to do it no later than June 2nd, which is Tuesday. So I need to know so that I can have you on the list and have it ready to go, because I will be putting that order in as soon as I can. Thank you, Teresa. I think everybody kind of agrees it's both. They're both pretty, but for different reasons. And I think depending on who I would send it to, that's probably what would determine. But anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're getting 16 different sampler packs of each of the paper, and you're going to get 16 card kits. And then if you did any of the bundles, you're going to get some of the brand new stamps. And one of them, this is the only one that I can show you because I don't have the other ones yet, but this one is the Celebrate Sunflowers, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This makes beautiful, beautiful cards, and it has dies that go with it, and that's part of the bundle that we picked out. That way you guys can cut them out, and it's just gorgeous. But those are the stamp sets that we're going to use. It's the Celebrate Sunflowers, ridiculously awesome. So it has lots of fun words, and I think they're very versatile. They'll go with lots of things. And then the other one is the whale of a time, I think, maybe. That might be what it's called. Or a whale. I don't even know. It's a whale, and it's super, super cute. It has like sea turtles and jellyfish, and it's very beachy, sea-oriented. Very, very pretty. And it's not overly cutesy. It's more of like a watercolor look. So it's not like one of those we've had in the past, like the whales that are super well done. Thank you, Laura. But it's not like one of those like overly cutesy cartoon character whales. He looks like a watercolor painted whale. He's really pretty. But he has a punch that punches him out, and it is fantastic. So anyway, we're going to use those 3 stamp sets for the Paper Party Palooza. If you don't have them, that's okay. Or if you decide that you just want the paper and the card kits, that's not a problem. All of the stamp sets are going to be designed so that you basically have to put the sentiment on, so you can use whatever you have at the house. But it's going to be lots and lots of fun. We're going to have a Facebook party, and we're going to invite you guys in. You're going to get a video for each of those card kits so that you can see how we made them, and then you obviously can do whatever you want with them, but that's what the card kits will be for. And then we're going to do prizes and games and stuff, and kind of just a girls' night out. It's on a Saturday evening, so and it'll be recorded, so if you can't make it to the actual event, you can go back and watch it later. That's okay. And we're going to have prizes, and prizes are fun. Lots and lots of fun. And I got to pick out the gifts. I was picking out gifts yesterday. I'm like, what do I give them? There was so many pretty things. but if you did the full party, and it was $180, if you did the full party, you're gonna get a package of brand new embellishments out of the new catalog. So if you have access to a new catalog because you're a demonstrator, you can go start looking through and figure out which one it is. Maybe I'm not going to tell you which one, but you're going to get one of the brand new embellishments just as a little gift because we appreciate it. But anyway, I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm going to hop off. I'm going to work on, there's going to be no class next week. That's what I was going to say. I might pop on and do a quick video because we have our retreat next week. So we're going to be doing some online stuff with that. And then we're supposed to be doing it in person. Nothing has changed yet. So hopefully we can still do it in person next week as long as nothing changes. But that is the plan. So I won't be here to do cards. It might just be a quick, see what we're doing at the retreat and see what kind of, prizes and pretty things we've got. So I might hop on for a little bit next Friday, but there is no card class because I will be working the retreat, and that is a lot of time and it's a lot of work. But at the retreat, I'm going to work on my schedule for next month's classes because we're going to do them a little bit different. Because I feel like some of you are getting a little bit bored. So we're going to do a little bit different. I know, don't be sad. I will still pop on and you guys can still see lots of fun things. I just don't know that we're going to have, I might have a card demonstration, maybe with some new stuff that I have, because I just got another new box of new stuff. But anyway, I don't see questions. I'm going to hop off and go find some dinner, and I hear my cat thinking she's wanting some attention. She was a little traumatized today. So you guys have a good evening, and I will talk to you guys Sunday for a spontaneous Sunday stamping. You guys have a good evening. Bye.